The wind howled through the broken windows of a tiny, decaying house on the outskirts of town. Inside, a frail boy sat huddled in the dim candlelight, his trembling fingers clutching a pencil. His stomach twisted with hunger, but the pain was nothing compared to the desperation in his heart. With slow, deliberate strokes, he scrawled a letter on a torn scrap of paper. "Dear God, I am so hungry. My mother cries every night because we have no food. If you are real, please help us. I don't want her to suffer anymore." The boy, named Eli, folded the note carefully and placed it inside an envelope. He didn't have a stamp. He didn't even know where to send it. But he had heard in church that God sees everything. Maybe he would see this too. With hope flickering in his hollow eyes, Eli slipped the letter under his front door and whispered a prayer before curling up on the cold floor. He never imagined that his plea would be answered, but not by the God he had expected. The night was eerily silent. Not even the usual rustling of rats could be heard. A chill crept through the tiny home, making the candle's flame shudder. Then, outside, something moved. A shadow slithered across the dirt path, stopping at Eli's door. It was tall, impossibly thin, and hunched as if its spine had been broken and twisted into an unnatural shape. Its fingers, long and claw-like, reached out and traced over the wood where the letter had been placed. Then, with a slow, deliberate motion, the door creaked open. Inside, Eli stirred. His eyelids fluttered as if sensing a presence, but exhaustion weighed too heavily on him. He remained still, breathing in slow, shallow gasps. The figure stepped forward, the candlelight barely illuminating its form. Its face was hidden beneath a hood of tattered black cloth, and its movements were too fluid, too inhuman. With skeletal fingers, it picked up the letter. It read every word. Then, in a voice that was not a whisper, nor a breath, but something in between, it spoke. "A child's hunger. A mother's sorrow. I can help, but at a cost." The candle's flame flickered wildly, and then darkness. When Eli awoke the next morning, the letter was gone. His mother was still asleep on the thin mattress in the corner, her face pale and hollow from malnutrition. The house remained as it was, broken, empty, cold. But something felt different. A strange scent lingered in the air, something metallic and bitter. And near the door, just beneath the cracks where the letter had been, was a small piece of paper that hadn't been there before. Eli picked it up with trembling hands. The words were scrawled in deep red ink. "Your prayer has been heard. Tonight, you shall feast." His heart pounded. Who had left this? Was it God? An angel? Someone kind? But as the day dragged on, Eli's excitement turned to unease. The shadows in the corners of the house seemed darker, and the silence heavier, as if the very air was waiting for something. Night fell, and with it came the sound of slow, deliberate knocking on the door. Eli's mother stirred, her voice weak. Who could that be at this hour? Eli hesitated. He didn't know why, but his instincts screamed at him not to open the door. But then, something slid beneath the crack. A single plate. And on it, steaming hot food. A full meal. Bread, meat, even a glistening apple. Eli's stomach growled painfully, his body screaming for nourishment. His mother sat up, eyes widening. "Where did this come from?" I don't know," Eli whispered. He picked up a piece of bread, its warmth so inviting, so unlike anything he had felt in weeks. Then, just as he brought it to his lips, the knocking came again, louder this time. Boom, boom, boom. His mother froze. The candlelight flickered wildly, throwing jagged shadows across the walls. Boom, boom, boom. The door rattled. Then, silence. Eli's breath came in shaky gasps. His mother clutched his arm. "Don't open it," she whispered. "Please, something isn't right." For a long moment, nothing happened. The only sound was their own shallow breathing. Then, the whisper came. A feast has been given. A price must be paid. Eli's hands went cold. The voice didn't come from the door. It came from inside the room,